I don't know if y'all follow Mandy Sabocat. If you don't, you should. She's a teacher in Minnesota who has been outspoken on behalf of her students as they experience the daily tyranny of ICE. And because she has been outspoken, exercising her constitutionally protected First Amendment rights, she has now been targeted by ICE. She made a video about ICE agents stalking her a couple of days ago. It's actually to the ICE agents who were stalking her. And she said something toward the end of that video that I thought was so powerful. And it reminded me of something my favorite author, Rebecca Solnit, said recently in one of her newsletter posts, Meditations in an Emergency.
Okay, this message is for the ICE agents that have been staking out my house. If you're not the ICE agents, or I guess you could be CPB or somebody else, some other Fed staking out my house, you can scroll away, okay? We saw you. Okay, your presence has been noted. We are aware you were there. We know that you didn't like my speech and you don't like the things I've been saying on the internet. And I know it's really hard for you. I know it's really hard for you. But my neighbor saw you. She went over and talked to you, and then you left like a bunch of piss boys. So here's what this experience was supposed to do. It was supposed to make me feel afraid.
Mm-hmm.
And what it did was make my neighbors look out for me, love me, and take care of me, which not exactly what we were hoping for, huh, boys? Not exactly. But next time you're there, come knock on the door. I'd love to meet you. I love meeting my fans, and hanging out outside my house is definitely fan behavior.
Okay, so one, right off the bat, Mandy's energy is the kind of energy we all need to bring when ICE shows up and tries to intimidate us. They're doing it here in Oregon. I have friends who do rapid response, and ICE will try and follow people home. American citizens, they have no business following you home. Their only goal is to intimidate you and try and scare you out of exercising your constitutionally protected First Amendment rights. And so it's really important that we not allow their tactics to be successful. We're not giving them any victories, and that means when their goal is to threaten and intimidate us, we will not be intimidated. They want to chill dissent. The only way that fascists can win is if they get you to give up your rights, if they get you to lay down and surrender. So when they try to increase their repression, when they try to up their intimidation tactics, the correct response, I know it's scary, is for us to be courageous and continue to exercise our rights, even in the face of intimidation. We don't expect them to respect our rights. We don't expect them to follow the law. We don't expect them to back off from their intimidation. We actually expect them to escalate their intimidation if we continue to refuse to surrender our rights. That's just the state of play. That's just how things are. It is crucially important in this moment in time that we are confidently continuing to adhere to the rule of law. We are confidently insisting that we will exercise our rights. It is outlandish. It's deeply un-American for masked, armed goons to try and scare American citizens out of exercising their constitutional rights. So Mandy brings the right energy. Fine, we're going to mock them. We're going to show them we're not going to be intimidated. Even if we feel scared on the inside, no, we're not going to let that change our behavior. But then what she said toward the end there, not about the ICE chuddies and their weird fan behavior, because it is really weird fan behavior to be stalking regular, ordinary Americans and sitting outside their homes. Real fucking weird. But the part where she said that their attempt at repression backfired. It's so crucial that every time they try and escalate their tactics, every time they try and step up their authoritarian bullshit, it has to backfire on them. And here we're seeing in Minnesota and all across the country, I know we're really seeing it here in Portland, that when the federal government attempts to intimidate us, attempts to threaten us, their goal is to make us feel powerless and alone, that it's absolutely backfiring, because what we're seeing is community coming together. People are forming new relationships. They're forming like underground groups of mutual aid and community care. Neighbors are starting to have conversations with neighbors that like maybe they were just kind of acquaintances with before. Maybe they didn't even say like hi when they went out to, do people even get the newspaper anymore? When they went out to check their mail or what have you in the morning, walk their dog. You know, now suddenly people are like, oh, hi, I know your name. I know your kids. I know where you work. I know what your car looks like. I know who your lawyer is. I know how to get help for you if you need it. I understand we're in a Signal chat together, right? Like we meet in each other's homes. We have dinner. We're seeing a strengthening of those community bonds of social cohesion. People are learning to depend on each other and trust each other in ways we maybe never had before. We're learning how to take care of each other. And I don't know that that would have happened if we had not had the threat of Donald Trump's regime. For every terrible thing that they do, what really matters most is how we choose to respond. And in this moment, we are leaning into our humanity. We are embracing empathy, community care. We are making sure that we build connections and we become stronger. They want us isolated, alone, weak, vulnerable, terrified. Nope. We are coming together, finding strength in each other. We are leaning on each other. We're taking care of each other. It is backfiring on them spectacularly. And Rebecca Solnit talked about this in one of her recent newsletters, how Trumpism is an isolationist movement, right? Trump has pissed off our allies, Canada, Mexico, the European Union, right? He's made sure that we as a nation are isolated, friendless, and alone so that he can try and control us. But likewise, they're trying to fracture us within our borders, polarizing Americans based on politics, making neighbors hate neighbors. She says in her newsletter that the U.S. government, controlled by the Trump regime, and Stephen Miller, I would argue, wants to segregate us into a hierarchy of inequality in which straight white Christian men are at the top and in which women are separate from men and don't deserve the same rights, immigrants from U.S. born, white from non-white, Christian from non-Christian. She goes on to say, it is a sad and lonely worldview and one whose most devout believers often seem miserable, angry, and eager to punish and harm. They have in recent years even directly attacked the idea and value of empathy. The word empathy literally means feeling into, the imaginative extension of the self into another. Rebecca says, I believe that this feeling at its best as compassion extends the boundaries of the self, literally makes you bigger as it makes you more connected. The intention of feeling compassion is the intention of expanding and relating and connecting. Its opposite withers you into the smallest version of yourself, a hard knot of unforgiving. She says, it robs you, MAGA robs you of the wealth of relationship. Further down, she says, at the very heart of the conflict raging in the United States is a conflict about human nature, a deep moral and philosophical conflict. I believe the isolationists will lose in the long run because they are not only out of step with the majority, but they are out of step with reality and because theirs is an impoverished version of who we can be. MAGA is walking away from the possibilities of love and joy and the sense of abundance and connection from which generosity springs. And when I think about the kind of community organizing that we're doing, the way the resistance movement is working and functioning in this moment, it is a movement about abundance, about connection. It is a movement about generosity and empathy and humanity and kindness. Rebecca is describing us as the opposite of the ideology of isolation. She says, we recognize that everything is connected. Even though capitalism and related systems of alienation and objectification have taught us all to forget and ignore or deny the fact that we are connected, nevertheless, this cosmology of interconnection has grown more powerful and influential over the past several decades, thanks to many forces seen as separate, but all that move us in the same direction. Anti-racism and feminism, which reject discrimination, inequality and exclusion, gay rights, which insisted that gender does not narrowly define who we are and who and how we can love and become loved, become family. Environmental activism that charts how damage moves downwind, downstream, how sabotaging one piece of an ecosystem affects the whole. The past 200 years have expanded the idea of universal human rights and equality through revolutions, but also through cultural shifts, which themselves can amount to slow-moving, incremental, subtle, and therefore too often unnoticed revolutions that manifest in 1,000 small ways. I really loved this perspective because not only does Rebecca honor the way that the movement right now, us right now, going through this terrible period in time, we are choosing to seek out each other in connection. We are finding our strength in connection, but also she connects us back to the work of so many other people over the last several decades. I know it can feel like we've been in a downward spiral for the last 10 or 11 years, and I so appreciate that perspective from Rebecca, that actually we are benefiting from all of the work and all of the progress that has been done by people who came before us over the last 100+ years. We are connected to them back through the years, through all of their good work. We are connected to each other now in this moment, and that has equipped us to be able to be successful against the isolationist movement of Donald Trump.